Okay, let me put a shirt on. I don't want to bathe without a shirt. I don't want to try, even though I used to. It really don't matter. I ain't trying to show off for nobody. Um, I don't know how long we'll be on here, but anyway, anybody that's tuning in, and I hope everybody's doing okay today. That's the main thing. I hope that fan is not too loud. Let's see if we can scoot it back a little further. Maybe it'll be all right. Okay. And I was going to do a little bit of a stream probably about an hour ago. I was going to just start one up and not really stream for real long, but right around that time, the guy that is like the maintenance man and he mows the yards for the trailer parks and other properties the landlord owns, he fired up I didn't realize he had pulled in down there, and then I heard the mower start up, and where he stopped yesterday was kind of where part of the back of my yard and then part of the front of the yard. So I let him get all that kind of done and go on to the next trailer. And now he's on the other side of the trailer park. So can't really hear him. You might hear it in the background every once in a while, depending on where he's at and how long I'm on here. Because I do have the windows open. But like right now, all I can hear is just like a silent humming, kind of. That's about it. And I just went ahead and streamed this to the second channel as well, because like I don't know which one is going to show up first on, but I realized was it yesterday I did it? Did I stream for about 30 minutes yesterday or something? I believe it was, and I was just on my Great Cloudy Day channel, which is the main channel. But I ended up at some point, pulling out a comic book that I just read and finished and kind of showing it off a little bit by using the overhead mount. So I was like, okay, I have the potential to possibly pull up a couple of comic books and show them off or something. And, maybe not go into depth, but I figured if I have that potential, then it's just as good to stream to the second channel. So, but the way we're going, give me a second here. Oh. So the puppies are outside right now. I figured before I get too far in here, I'm going to read the Jesus Calling for today, even though I didn't do a video on it. What I chose to do this morning was living a life of awareness, daily meditations on the Toltec path, and I picked identity. That's what it was talking about, and I had my reasons. You can go watch that channel, or you can go check out that video if you haven't. But August 15th, I thought, because my approach to trying to stream lately is to try to just start off from early on talking and doing things or whatever. Like I think last week I experimented with this within the first minute, like I had it set up where I was playing the drums right off the bat, or maybe I just go right into whatever it is I need to start saying, because I figure you don't want a lot of dead time. So even if nobody's watching right there at the beginning, or even if the whole time you're on there, you don't get anybody watching or listening, the idea is give them something to listen to or watch whenever someone does come across it, so, and I know that a lot of the people that do watch the channel have appreciated that I was really doing the devotional videos on a regular basis. It's just things have shifted up for me, and that's just the way that I've been moved to kind of come back to where I started. sharing a little bit about a lot of different things and where I take from and where I get from and, what's helped me. August 15th. I am the God of all time and all that is. Seek me not only in morning quietness, but consistently throughout the day. Do not let unexpected problems distract you from my presence. Instead, talk with me about everything and watch confidently to see what I will do. Adversity need not interrupt your communion with me. When things go wrong, you tend to react as if you're being punished. Instead of this negative response, try to view difficulties as blessings in disguise. Make me your refuge by pouring out your heart to me, trusting in me at all times. And I just wanted to kind of right before I decided to do a short live here, or I always say short because I never know. There's been times that I've gotten on and been kind of nervous and everything's going on there. And then all of a sudden, someone shows up watching, saying something, or somehow somebody decides that they might, like, when Merlin decided that he would join in or something. Like something could come up and all of a sudden I'm actually kind of in a flow and the stream just ends up being as long as it needs to be. But I always start off with the pretense that it's probably not going to be that long. Especially during this past week, because I have been pretty on point of staying at whatever I need to do during the day as much as possible. I will say I have done a little bit today already. I can show, not that anybody knows necessarily, but if you see that trashy ass old love seat, you can tell where the dogs have ripped it up. It's just been, it's not something worth keeping. Never has been, really. Shit. But that, of course, at one point was right here where the wall is and then I've got a couple of things that I had to move around, but so that I could put that over there. Well, yesterday, like, you might not know it, but there was a taller pile of stuff there. Some of those boxes, what I've done is take some things out, put them in that tub. Some things I just threw away out of the box and kept kind of kept the box in case I can use it for the floor in the spare bedroom while I'm having still have the puppies. So it's probably don't appear to be a lot to anybody if they didn't know what it looked like over there already. So you basically had where that love seat is, if you were looking at what I just showed you, there was more stuff spread out between the whole width of it and things stacked on top, which wasn't a lot of stuff. It was just boxes that could be consolidated into one thing, and then other containers that were just empty. Like that Mayfield container sitting there on the cushion there is completely empty. I just need to put it up. So the idea is I'm getting it to the point where like I said, I want to discard that stupid thing. There's no need to have that piece of furniture in this house. It became a place. Apparently, now I see why the dogs tore up the sides and stuff. At some point, mice or something were, from time to time I get mice. In the winter, I actually ended up having some rats here, man. Like, boy, I'd never had a rat. Over the years I've lived here, I've had from time to time in the winter, usually mice trying to find a home, and I take care of it appropriately by getting the right stuff you need. And, as soon as I know there's a mouse or two or whatever the hell is roaming around in here, if I can't get it right away, as soon as my next payday comes, that's when I do it. So, long story short, when I moved that the other day, there was a lot of nastiness up underneath it. I'd noticed where the mice and rats will pull some of the insulation out of the walls and be trying to make nests out of it and stuff. And okay, so anyway, if you just tuned in, I had showed kind of a little bit of something I kind of did today, as far as you could call it a chore, a much needed chore that has been long overdue. And that's some of the rearranging in this living room so that eventually, now I already have like that chair right there is pretty comfortable. I could fix that arm, it's broke off, but I might start doing some videos just right there and use that little table to set up on, which is what I've done some of this past little bit, the past few videos. But I don't like my idea was to move the table into the middle of the room and then have the wall where the love seat used to be. And if you've been watching me, then you've heard me mention this over the past few weeks. So I want to decorate this wall that I'm looking at, where the love seat used to be pressed up against. So this week I've done a little bit of rearranging. It's still cluttered in here. There's still plenty of work to do. But the point is, I'm staying on it. And that's another reason, like as far as doing the streams and stuff, I have done some, but I've kind of kept them short and just, like, hey, I need to touch base. I don't need to, but I want to. That's the main thing. Like anybody that's like truly watching my channel or likes to watch these streams, to hear me just babble on about stuff sometimes. And no, I'm not always babbling, but we've created a community, and some of you guys, like, I know you can't watch every single thing. You're not always on every live stream, but there's certain people that from time to time, when you pop up in the comments or you're here in the stream, it really, it's like, it's nice to see the name show up. It's nice to see that someone's there, or like someone that's been following for a while, and I just wanted to say, thanks to everybody that does watch and listen and share and whatever. So I guess I could show you, give me a second. I know I just read from Jesus Calling, but if you watch the channel a little bit, you also know that I smoke a little bit of greenery. I've been sprinkling a little bit of this sugar wax on top of just some weed. I'm still smoking very little compared to what I used to do. I don't smoke any tobacco really no more. I haven't smoked like I never was a big tobacco smoker, but at some point I picked up the habit. I was like 25 years old before I really, really kind of gave tobacco a try. I'd already done a bunch of other stuff, smoking weed, dripping acid, a lot of different drugs. Let's not get into that and try to glorify it or anything. But then I picked up tobacco when I lived in New Orleans on the streets, and it was because they were all like rolling tobacco, and I'd take a hit or two and I'd get like a head rush. And like, so to me, I was like, well, yeah, hell, I was 25 years old. It was like, damn, man, somebody should have slapped the hell out of me. But so for a little while, but I've always been like with tobacco, it was like a take it or leave it thing. I've never had to, like some people they can't go through their day if they don't have it because they've smoked so long or they've dipped so long or whatever. I'd never really put that as a necessity. Like if I had the craving bad enough, I'll pick up cigarette butts and break the tobacco up. But I haven't smoked in months, like not tobacco. Okay, Great Cloud, pull yourself together. Don't get so out there. Let's try to keep this focused, somewhat entertaining. If you didn't get on at the very beginning, it took a few minutes, but I ended up reading today's Jesus Calling here on the live stream. And there's another idea that the reason I'm doing this also is that I can turn some of this live stream once it's processed, and it usually takes about 24 hours for me to be able to edit it or cut any of it out of there and make shorts out of it, And you can turn a short up to 3 minutes. So the only problem is whatever. It might be sometimes when you've been on the widescreen and you turn it into a short, the image will be real. It almost kind of distorts it because it's trying to convert it to the vertical. Anyway, so I didn't do it. I just did that so that anybody that does watch this, hopefully afterward the fact that is a viewer and has been here for a while, if that's one of the things that they really particularly like watching from Gray Cloudy Day. But also at the same time, I thought about, well, if I, for instance, start to talk about any comic books, however long I talk about them, now that I'm streaming it to the second channel, I'll be able to hopefully maybe make a few shorts from this live stream if that's something that I've shown off or talked about. And I think what we might do here is this won't be anything real detailed or anything. I'm going to try to see. Yeah, why don't we do this real quick? And, guys, if you're watching from Gray Cloudy Day channel and you're not someone that's into comics, well, if you've been watching me any length of time, then I know some of my subscribers might not actually be into comics, but they actually don't mind when we're talking about. Oh, God. Hold on a minute. Sorry. Maybe I shouldn't even worry about this really right now. Let me try to get this on without hitting that button. And I was trying to do this. This is all, it's kind of practice for me anyway. So that's the way I'm going to look at it. And we're going to pull this back a little like this. Give me a second here. Because what I'm going to do, and then, I can't please everybody here, but what I'm going to try to do is, I know that I've probably posted some pictures of these. I don't know exactly, maybe made some shorts on the second channel, but all within the last few weeks. What I'm going to show you is a few things that have came in. The main thing that I'm really excited about is this, which is Bronze Star, written by Mike Baron. Pat Broderick is the artist. I have not read this yet because I'm currently trying to catch up on anything that I've had kind of just sitting here that I should have already read. There's a few things that I've had come in last month. And, just things happen. Trying to keep up with 2 channels, trying to just keep up with life. Bronze Star. I will show off. Let's look at the art a little bit. Uh-oh. Goodness gracious, Gray Cloud. These were kind of cool. I'm stoked about that. And, of course, work with me here. I'm trying to get this kind of down on using this arm. It'd be better if I was sitting up a little higher, but I think I'm as high as I can be. In my chair, I mean. Now, I don't know if that's from. It's going to be a very nice book to read, I think. I'm a fan of Mike Baron's writing already, and I've talked about that. And basically what I'm doing right now is just kind of getting used to using this. I'm going to have to, I did all this in the moment here, so it's different if I was setting up my arm with the mount and setting up for an actual video. I would have more time to, now, I don't know. Oh, I thought that was in there. Now that's something I found at the comic store, when I did get to go in there. And the reason I picked that up is I saw that it had Jim Shooter's name on it, and recently Jim Shooter had died, and he is he was a very well known name in the mainstream of comic industry. Worked for a lot of the big companies. Was a good known as a great editor. This is a dark horse, but this is issue 2. I don't know how many of this. I've looked it up, but it's something I found for $1 or 50 cents or something at that comic store. So I haven't read that either. Here's the Rogue Trooper. Let me pull this back a little, kind of like this. Well, anyway, you get the idea. I'm just showing off a few things. You probably already knew about this, maybe, if you've been watching. Another thing I'm excited about is Last Call, Volume 1. A few months ago, I'd gotten Bixu or something like that. It was another book by Basilis Lolos. And I asked him on X what he would recommend as far as his back catalog stuff because I'm new to knowing about him because he's in Comicsgate and he is doing his own crowdfunding books and stuff. And he has a large history and has worked for a lot of different companies. So he suggested, he thought that if I was looking for any of his old comic or his old graphic novels or stories that he worked on or anything that was his himself, The Last Call was what he recommended. So I got the used copy. This was put out by, I don't remember what, if it's his published. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy this also. Last Call. I think I like his art. It's kind of it's got like its certain own feel to it. Of course, I haven't started that either. This is another thing that was suggested or someone recommended. They just kind of picked it up and started reading it. The Girl from the Other Side, it's a manga also. Well, like this is not a manga, but this is. And it looks, it starts from the back, but it looks really cool. Like just the premise, I read about it. Like the guy that one of the creators of the Godfo universe and Apollyon and Kolga, some of the books I've bought and am a big fan of that are in the crowdfunding, they had recommended this. So I went and found a used copy once again off of eBay for cheap, Like I'm not spending tons of money on these, it's not like I'm buying expensive comics. That when I spend, like I am, when I do buy something from an actual creator, it might cost a little bit more because it's somebody's crowdfunded book. But as far as finding old used copies of stuff that's been in print for a while, or maybe it's not even in print, I just get, it's a way for me to do it fairly cheaply and still, be able to kind of like research things and see and not spend a lot on something, especially if I didn't know about it. Like this book here cost me $25, but it's a good quality, nice, thick, it's good quality paper. It's Mike Baron, and it's giving support to the actual person, the creators, because I bought it off of his site. So a lot of crowdfunding books, because they're like the size of an actual graphic novel and all that, and that's the way they're printed, a lot of times will be $20 to $30, man. So, you can't, like, for me, I can't spend, like, I can't afford to necessarily, hold on here. Sorry about that. That was kind of frustrating because I didn't really, I think I might have rushed it, and I could have probably turned the the thing that holds the phone a different way. Maybe, I don't know. that's going to be, well, let's see. Okay. I think I might have came up a little bit more. I'll have to test it out. That's not a big deal, you know. It's just that I see that I went just trying to use the arm, trying to show y'all a few of the things. I had not really planned to that, but they're right here in front of me. Like I don't have them put up in some box or something. Um, so that was kind of the gist of not knowing exactly where I was going with this, except I just wanted to stream, and I thought somebody out there might, you know, like there's usually a few people, if they are able to catch it, they like to like put it on and listen or see what I'm talking about or whatever. So we went from sharing the devotional for today from the Jesus Calling here on the live stream, and then a little bit about some comics or manga also. And, now I do have I could have showed you the volume 4 of Chainsaw Man, and I just finished that the other day. So like I just make it. I want people to understand that like, I'm not, you know, like before I'm ordering anything. Usually, I'm trying to take care of certain things on my payday and stuff. Now on payday, I've looked at things, and as far as off of eBay, I might have a few titles or something, but I am being real particular about what it is I might want to order or not, and not making that the main thing to do first. Try to take care of what I can. Just some things trying to take care of it ain't as easy as others. I got it, but I'm not going to focus on anything that could be even considered negative. There was something I was listening to earlier today before I kind of got started. I had pulled up an Eckhart Tolle about a 15-minute video. It was probably taken from a longer, like, because he's talking, he's sitting like he's on the stage or he's standing and talking about, it seems so cliche. A friend of mine and I were talking about this the other day also. Cliches are cliches for a reason. But he was talking about our negative thoughts and why is it that it's so much easier. Why do we as human beings seem to put more time and effort into putting the energy into our negative thoughts and thinking about things in a negative light rather than when we're actually experiencing positive things or even the positive memories that we've created? And it's like, I used to think to myself, anybody that used to tell me just to think positive and change the way you think, I used to think, they're just full of shit. But no, like, I've experienced that over the years. I've learned that it's true. Like what I'm consuming in my, either whether I'm looking online or reading or watching anything or listening to anything is irrelevant. Whatever my mind is like, where my thoughts are going, if they're going anywhere that could be kind of negative, whether that's dwelling on anything that's just a bad influence on me personally. Like there's things that sometimes I do intentionally try to stay away from. And that's not just necessarily alcohol or particular drugs. It can be anything, you know, certain foods I try to stay away from, certain types of content online I try to stay away from. But inevitably, it's a thing that I have to I have to take it on as it comes. And that's what I'm learning. I mean, I've known this, but the more I just fall into this, the easier it seems to just be happening. Like whether it be a stream or the videos I've been doing lately or the walks, even if I'm not getting, like, I know I've said this to several people over the past few weeks, maybe even in a couple of videos. I'm not always satisfied at the end of the day. I think I could have always done more. But I'm being shown that sometimes it's still what I have done is enough. Like, it's like not every day is going to be like, but when you can do it that way and you got the energy to do it, you go with it. When you don't, it's kind of like the fourth agreement. Always do your best. My best has been pretty good the past like few weeks, and the more I fall into it, the more it gets better. Now, will there be a flattening point? I'm sure that's part of life. Will there be an decline at some point? Probably so. Well, yeah, like some negative things, but he was talking about negative thoughts like in worrying, just shit you can't do nothing about. That's what the premise of the video and the stuff I was listening to. Like, I can understand that your brain wants to remember negative things, like maybe traumatic things, but it is a survival mechanism. But when anything that I know for myself, and I'm only speaking for myself, when I'm in a negative frame of mind, whether it be me thinking about something from the past or worrying about something that's not happened, I see where that totally affects my days. Well, yeah, that's what, like Eckhart Tolle, he's not some, like, he don't have it down, but he was just talking about it. I've shared some of his videos. He was just talking about the way we avoid some of that is by staying in the now. Like, when we're focused on now, we have less time to think, oh, well, I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, or we don't have, like, when I'm just trying to be here today, then I'm not, it's kind of like, it's just like every time I bring up that gift that was given to me last year and I fumbled the ball, and I'm not doing it right now because I'm very aware of what I'm talking about, because I know that you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get into no details, but every time I've mentioned that over the past month or so, whether it be to you, online, in a live stream, to my friend, whatever, we all came to the conclusion. I realized, yes, it still bothered me. In order for me to not let it bother me, is to let it go. It's still there. But what I'm meaning is, fuck it. I don't know what I mean, really. I'm just saying I'm in a good place. It's not bothering me right now, and I didn't bring it up because of that. I was just saying it wasn't until I became aware, hey, wait. And that's part of, like, I have to get past those things. It's just something that I have to deal with personally. It's not just that. There's plenty of things that are from the past that still come up in my brain sometimes. I think as a spirit in a fleshly body, with the human form, that's just, my mind is that a thunder? I think I heard thunder. Yeah. So I need to, the puppies are outside right now, but I think they're under the porch. I just need to be conscious of, like, it's not looking like anything's going to start right away, and you can hear thunder, and it could look like something's going to happen and then totally bypass. So I'm not going to rush too quick right now, because if I bring them in and then it just passes over, it doesn't do anything. But because from what I understood, we're our chance of rain today, we do have some small chances, but I didn't think we had anything too recent. Now that was a few hours ago. Sorry guys, that threw me off. I heard the thunder. I'm just thinking about my puppies. But you get what I'm saying? Like, if I was to, and I get what you're saying, me thinking about that, but now I'm not letting it bother. But it's good to have a memory of it so that I don't fucking do the same time with stupid shit. But sometimes we get stuck in things and patterns that aren't beneficial. In other words, when I think of negative thoughts, I think of people that are fucking pessimistic. I used to be very pessimistic. I used to be more of a cynical person, a pessimistic person. I looked at it as if every day, look at it that something it's not really that great. And so if something good does happen, you can be like excited for it at the moment. Like, but I used to look at things as why even bother giving a shit about anything. I don't know. That's sounding like but I'm glad that at some point in my life, that shifted and I became more of a person that likes to look at things in a optimistic way. Of course, I still get down and I get depressed sometimes. Y'all seen me have my periods during the channel's history where there's times that I fell off the wagon or I'm dealing with something physical and it throws me into some mental blockage, just a lot of different things have happened over the past few years where at times I'm down and I'm not dealing with it the best way. But at the same time, over the past few years, I've progressed further than I have in a long time in life. You would have had to know me like, 6, 7, whatever. But that's then, this is now. So, and I'm trying to remember this. Yeah, you're watching the channel here. It's called Great Cloud Today. I'm Great Cloud. But it's not always about me. I'm not trying to just focus on Great Cloud, Great Cloud, Great Cloud. But, hey, I'm just sharing about my life. So, but yeah, I really like that thing there that I was, if I probably was not trying to do it all in such a moment and be quick with it. But like I said, in a video setting, like the other day when I made a video from overhead, I kind of set it up and was able to set the comic book down and look at it and get it kind of more adjusted where like it worked where I'm sitting. And I think the thunder is telling me I should probably, if I'm still streaming, it's going to be more chaotic if it just starts raining really hard all of a sudden. Or even if it's light rain and I'm streaming and not paying attention. So, my idea is that I'm probably going to end this. It might blow over, but I'm going to end it. That way I can kind of keep more of an eye on it. And if I need to start moving the puppies in, I'm not streaming and I don't accidentally forget. Plus, I got other stuff to get doing and done here, or I need to anyway. I'm going to try to do more reading, more organizing. I don't know, man. I just know that what is it in the 12-step program I did learn, even though I'm not practicing any 12 steps right now or anything, guys. Obviously I do, but I'm not drinking. And just because you ain't practiced and actually officially saying that you're going to meetings or in the program doesn't mean that you can't still apply certain things that you've learned if you're a smart person. Not that I'm smarter than anybody. Hey, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah, just because I don't want it to be pouring down and rain and me trying to get them in. You guys have a good day, and thanks for tuning in.